next few videos I'll be talking about working in China, and I'll be conducting interviews with foreign teachers who are currently living in China right now. Hopefully you can learn from their experiences, and this will give you a flavour of what it's like to be a foreign teacher here in China. I'll progress by age group and gradually climb throughout the educational system. So in this video I'll start at the bottom with kindergarten. All the teachers I'll be interviewing have experience in that particular age group or type of school. Let's look at our first foreign teacher. Okay, I'm here with Tommy Hooker now, and Tommy, first of all, can you tell us how did you find out about Network ESL?
Yes, well, I was in England at the time, and I actually just received an email from one of my friends who had been living in China, and basically the email just said, "Come to China, live the dream," in big capital letters. And inside the email, Charlie had been writing about like his experience in China and how he loved working in China. So he just generally asked me if I was interested in trying it. And I can remember just going downstairs to my mum, and I just said, "Mum, I want to go to China." And then she was like, "Great, fine." And then basically I replied to Charlie's email, and then he put me in contact with Network ESL, and then we could start the process from there.
Okay, so it was very much a sort of word of mouth thing.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Just I was just lucky that Charlie was already here.
Okay, so when did Network ESL contact you?
Pretty much the next day. Actually, that was really speedy. Charlie had given my details to the foreign manager, I guess, called Helen. And then Helen sent me a direct email saying, "Oh, Charlie has told me that you're interested in coming to China. Is this true?" And then we would exchange emails to and fro, and she got me started.
Okay, so what about the kind of paperwork you had to do?
There wasn't much in terms of paperwork. Basically, all I had to do was I sent a copy of my CV and an up-to-date passport photo of myself to Helen. And then from then, she sent me more paperwork to do with my education, my work experience, stuff like that. And then once all that got cleared up, she sent me an information package, which told me all about Network ESL, all about China, and how to go about getting my visa.
Can you tell us now, what is it like teaching?
Well, obviously my full-time job is a kindergarten teacher, and I can honestly say now I love it. I won't lie to you, when I first started it wasn't as easy as I was expecting. But the first month, when I got over the first month, everything was fine. Just getting to know students, finding a routine, and now I can honestly say I love teaching children. Just the feeling of pride and sense of achievement you get when a child actually uses English, it's just a really good feeling. But it has its ups and downs, but definitely more ups than downs.
Okay, so big question, how do you teach kindergarten? How can you teach English to such small children?
Yeah, it took me a while to find my own system. It got introduced to me by my assistant, and she basically just told me it's easy. All you got to do is 4 or 5 steps. Basically, you start with a greeting, so it's going to be anything like hello, how are you, good morning, good afternoon, anything like that, really.
Yeah.
And then after that, I would go for a review. So after the greeting, I would review previous words. So maybe last week, I taught the words like lion, elephant, giraffe, and monkey. And then once I reviewed those words, I go around the class, asking 1 or 2 students what's this, and if they answer correctly, I'll reward them. And then after I review, I will normally teach either a sentence to go with those words or new words. So for example, the sentence would be something like, "What's your favourite animal?" "My favourite animal is a giraffe." Something like that. And then it's very easy. After I've taught that for 5 or 10 minutes, I would then move on to a game. And I think now I've got a selection of 10, 15 games that I regularly use, and the students know that, and it works in class. And that's really my system. It's just a simple 4 steps, and that works for me. And I think it's important that when you're teaching kindergarten, you have to find your own system.
Can you tell on a game maybe that you play? One of your favourite games to play? What's a really good one?
I think a constant winner with my class has always been Find the Wolf.
Okay.
And basically what I will have are four words. Okay, so I'll have like I said before, lion, giraffe, monkey, and tiger. Okay. And then I'll teach those words, and then when I play a game, I put all 4 cards on a table, and then I'll hide a wolf under one card. And what they need to do, they need to come up to me and they say,
a picture of a wolf.
Yeah, a picture of a wolf hidden under a card. And they come up to me and I say, okay, so I'll say like, Jack, what's your favourite animal? And Jack will say like, my favourite animal is and then he'll choose a picture. If he chooses a picture and there's no wolf, he'll get a sticker. But if he chooses a picture and there is a wolf, I will chase him back to his seat, and he has to sit down before I catch him. And like they go crazy for this game.
You talked about your teachers helping you before, so how do you control them though? Maybe if like your assistants are busy, and maybe you're by yourself for a moment.
Yeah.
Is there any way that you can kind of control them if they are a bit wild?
I actually use a system where I broke the class into teams, and I made the class a competition, which I now do every class because it's so good for controlling students. Whether it's boys and girls or whether I break it straight down the middle, it will always be like such like strong competition, and they really want to win. So basically, the stickers now count for points, and every time I give a student a sticker, they will add a point to their table, and each team has a table, obviously. So if a student's good, they get a point. And then at the end of the class, I will count the points, and whoever has the most points, I will give them a prize, which is normally just a high five. But it's just the feeling of winning they love the most. So this gives me kind of control, because then if a student or a team is misbehaving, quite simply I'll just take away a point. And as soon as I touch those points, like everyone's just like,
Yeah, let's talk about the funniest thing that's happened in class. What kind of funny things can happen when you teach such young children?
Well, I would have to tell you about George. One day I was teaching some fruit, and I was teaching the word kiwi. I was teaching the kiwi, and it's a bit of an uncommon word, and I only just taught it that day. So at the end of the class, I was going around, and I went to this girl called Lily, and she was sitting next to George. And I showed Lily the card, and I said, Lily, what's this? And she's giving me like a blank look. She's like, like completely, I just didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
Anyway, to my surprise, George actually started telling her the answer. And I was like, oh my god, like George is actually listening and knows the answer. Like, so I was like, okay, alright, I'll let him tell her. And he was just like, in her ear. And then next thing, she looks at me and she just goes, brrr! I was just like, what?
That's not the word, yeah.
I was like, that's not right. And then George at this point was like on the floor, like wetting himself. He found it hilarious.
So he just deliberately made up
Yeah, he just deliberately told her completely the wrong answer, like not even a word.
Yeah.
Like just went brrr, like right in my face, and like it was just priceless.
What advice would you give a foreign teacher?
Just try and go with the flow. And if someone drops, like, all right, you've got to go into kindergarten tomorrow and you've got to sing a song in front of 25 students. Someone does that and they're like, right, okay, we haven't prepared anything, so you've got to make it up yourself. Like, you're like, what? Like, what? You can't do that. You've got to give me like a week's notice at least. But you can't do that. You just got to go with the flow and just remember, like, they love you. And the more stupid you are, the more they love it. To be honest. So just be patient and understanding, and just try and just go with the flow of things, really, and just take it easy.
Yeah, I really got to agree with the, basically the more stupid you feel, the better they love it. Example, I remember teaching a kindergarten class very early in the morning. I was like, it's just so early.
Yeah.
And I literally had to wear like massive like rabbit ears, like this big, and then all the parents were like sat down. You know, normally the parents aren't in the class.
Yeah.
But it's because it's a Saturday special class. So all the parents were sitting on the floor like half a semicircle. All the kids were there, and everyone was looking at me. And I literally had these rabbit ears on, and I was jumping like a rabbit.
That sounds alright. Yeah.
And I was just like, I literally was like, you know, I feel so. I do feel awkward right now. And I was proper, going for it.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's going to be someone here just kind of quietly sniggering.
Yeah.
But they were loving it.
Yeah, they go crazy.
They were smiling, like, look at him, they were clapping, and I was just like, what am I doing with my life? You know?
Yeah.
But I have to say, they really loved it.
Yeah,
And then you feel like, okay, they love it, I'm just going to go for it now.
And really like let loose.
And see how far I can jump.
Yeah.
And, check that out. So I felt as soon as I put that on, I was like, please, I don't want to jump like a rabbit. You know? Okay, Tommy, can we talk a bit about the support you've had?
Anything, like any problems I had, like I would just call up Rachel or Tiffany and be like, I don't know what's going on here, like can you help me? And like whether it was just like talking to a taxi driver and being like, right, he just wants to go home. Or whether it was like talking to a policeman because they want to see my like living permit, and like all I've got like in front of me is like police squad, and they're just like pointing at me, and I'm like, what is this? Call them out and then just sort everything out like within a day. And it's not even exaggerating. Like if they can sort it that day, they will. And like even like after hours, like if you've got a problem in the middle of the night, like you call them. Like I remember one time like I'd gone out. And it was like 12 o'clock in the morning, in midnight, and I couldn't get a taxi. And I called up the Network ESL like hotline, which is what they have. It's like an emergency hotline. Yeah. And like within like an hour, they'd sent a car to come and collect me. And I was like, wow, like this is amazing. Like.
Okay, Tommy, what would you say is the most challenging part of the job?
Kindergarten, I would again have to say what we talked about earlier, which is controlling the students. That is by far the most challenging part. Like teaching, again, like the students are clever, like and surprisingly they love English. They really do. Like it's kind of a break, like from their like normal studies. So it's new, it's different, it's interesting. So like that's easy. And like just making them have fun is easy. Like I can pretty much just sit there and clap my hands if I wanted to, and they would be like, yeah. But it's that when they get a bit too hyperactive, and like bring them back down. Like that's the hard part. And like controlling the students is so difficult. And when you first begin to like take the reins of your class, like you do realise like wow, like I'm really. Doesn't make them struggle with this. It's like, oh god, like what do I do now? So to overcome this, like this is where the assistants will come in, and this is like their main job really is to make sure that everyone is on the same page. And so they will come in and they will basically translate what I'm saying. And after the translation, I will then ask them again the same question, and hopefully this time they'll understand. And then once they've got a general idea of what I'm asking them, I'll reward them with a sticker or a high five or a point for their team or something like that. So like in kindergarten, the language barrier is usually quite easily overcome because in the school and in your class, there are people that can speak good English. So it's easy to overcome.
Okay everyone, well I hope you enjoyed the interview and you learned something. It was great reminiscing with Tommy as I was a kindergarten teacher myself for 2 years, and I personally say the most important things are be enthusiastic, keep an open mind, play as many games as you can to try and gauge their interest, and just always be smiling and happy, and the children will feed from this energy, and that means you can have a great class. Okay, well next time I'll be talking to a primary school teacher. As always, all the information is on our website at www.networkesl.com. Okay everyone, thanks for watching.